Do you really know how to knee? A lot of people throw their techniques like this or this, and I watch and I go, ooh, if you were actually in a fight and against a decently high level person, that knee is either not gonna work or you're gonna get knocked out while throwing it. Today we're gonna go through and make sure you understand all the finer details of executing a very dangerous, a very solid, protected knee. All right, guys, first I want to say that I do understand there are many different ways to throw knees. There are so many people who have different methods of teaching, and keep in mind this is my channel and I'm showing you what I like. But I'm not an instructor who's so naive that I go, this works for me and all these other methods, because they don't work for me, are wrong. There are some things which are flat out wrong, and we're going to touch on those today, and I'll explain why I don't like them and why I think you should stop doing them. But in general, I like to try and look at what works best with different fighters and incorporate that into my own techniques. So that's what I'm going to be sharing with you guys today. The very first thing which I want to make sure that you understand when you execute your knee is simply connecting with the knee to whatever you're trying to strike is not enough, because the trajectory of the knee is going to be very important in what we're trying to accomplish and how much damage we can actually land. Now, most of you out there are going to be training to throw body knees. Number one, because it's safer in the gym, and number two, because you're not allowed as an amateur fighter to knee to the face. So I'm going to assume today that all knees are coming to body level. When we're coming to body level with the knee, we're not trying to come upwards. That would be the equivalent of me throwing my front kick coming up, like I'm trying to kick something here. No, we want to kick through the target. Just like when we do a front kick, we want to knock our opponent back or win them by aiming through. Same thing on the knee. We want to aim through. How do we accomplish this? What might we be doing wrong, which is going to impede this technique? Well, number one, if my heel is not tucked tight, it's very difficult for me to get that motion where I'm poking through. You just end up kind of jamming it. And you might feel like you're doing it correctly on the Thai pad because the person's holding and you're like, oh yeah, I'm kneeing really well. But they could just be holding, you get really close and you just essentially knee the Thai pad instead of hitting the belly pad and following through. So heel tucked very tight. You will pretty much see all high level fighters point their toe as well when they do this. Is it a must? I feel like it is. I feel like as soon as I let my foot dangle, I can no longer get this as tight as I want. So I would say, start off and get that motion. Number two, I like to elevate through the ball of the foot. Now, a lot of this is based on distance. If I'm super tight, like I've controlled the guy and I can just blast my knee like that, maybe I don't need to. But a lot of styles do not allow clench. Kickboxing now, you cannot double hand clench. So we're going to assume right now that we're free. And what we want to make sure we're doing is we get extra distance. You can see right now when I throw, I can get to about here. Now, when I come to the ball of my foot, I can poke extremely far through the target. So if you can make sure that the heel is tucked tight, you aim through the target by elevating the ball of the foot, you already have a good base to your knee. And a quick pause to give a shout out to the partner of this episode, Ridge Wallets, who have the perfect gift for your loved ones for this holiday season. You can shop this holiday sale by going to my link below, ridge.com/Varga10, and save up to 30% if you shop by December 20th. And if you use my link, you can enter your email for a free chance to win a Ridge bundle worth $4,000, and no purchase is necessary. The Ridge wallet holds up to 12 cards, has RFID blocking materials so you don't have to worry about credit card theft. Their key case holds up to 6 keys so you have no more jangling around as you're walking. And they have some great new colors which they've added to their inventory. With over 3 million customers, 80 5-star reviews, a 99-day risk-free trial, and a lifetime warranty, it is hard to go wrong with this product. It's pretty simple, guys. Click the link down below and find a great gift for your loved ones for the holiday season. Now I want to talk quickly about what the hips and shoulders are doing, because sometimes people get confused between round kicks where we rotate the body and trying to throw knees, and they end up coming up the middle but kind of turning the body. And there are absolutely people who can execute knees with a pivot, and by turning their shoulders, but these people are few and far between. They are very skilled, and if you're somebody who's in the beginner or intermediate stage of your striking career, I would say focus on keeping those hips and those shoulders, everything in here, fairly neutral. You can definitely lean backwards, but you're gonna note I'm not twisting my torso. I'm keeping my body fairly square, and this is gonna help maintain the balance. As soon as I start turning, I can't get back to where I wanna be. And if I turn too far the opposite direction, I'm gonna probably miss out on a little bit of distance. So I would say for now, keeping your body relatively square. Yes, you can always make small adjustments, but relatively square is a good thing to do. Now let's talk about hand positioning, because this is when it really starts to play a big factor into how safe you feel while executing your knee. We have to remember, a front kick or a round kick is done at long range. If I hit the person, they can't punch me. There's no way. They're gonna have to lean forward like this to reach me, and those kicks are gonna be so devastating that they won't get any power anyway. But on a knee, I have to get close enough that this person can most likely strike me with their hands. So defense, or protecting your head while executing the knee, is so very important. Now, I was just doing a Zoom private the other day, and somebody was, I can't remember who it was in particular, but somebody was showing me their knee, and they were going, oh, I throw like this. And many gyms through North America that I've been to will teach this hand position. And it's probably because when we throw front kicks, a lot of times we swing our hand down. When we throw a round kick, we swing our hand down. So they go, oh, we might as well swing our hand down. Probably, not 100%, but probably the people who are teaching you that have never been in a real fight, because if you do from here come forward and you drop this arm and you get hooked there once, you're probably gonna go, yeah, I don't really like that anymore. So the two alternatives that you will see most high-level fighters do is, number one, they're either going to extend both hands out. This will help protect you from straight punches, but also from hooks. You can make adjustments with your hands accordingly. Or number two, similar to what I was just showing you, except instead of this hand going down, this one's just gonna stay at the side of my head. And then from there, I can toss that knee up, and I'm not gonna expose my head much. Now, really the final thing that I want to talk about today is when you're executing your knee, you've gone into the technique, you hit your target. What do you do after? I see many people on pads, or especially in fights, where in that 1 to 5 fight sort of stage, where I see them throw the knee and then they fall to here. And they end up jamming themselves and usually putting themselves in a position where it's not ideal for them. If you can practice hitting and getting right back to where you were, I'd say that is much more ideal. So if you're doing your bag work, your sparring, your pad work, whatever else, some shadow boxing, practice moving around, do everything else that I mentioned today, poke out, and get back to your stance promptly. This allows you to be at that distance where now you can follow up if you want. You can even give yourself extra distance by taking a little step back. You see what I did there? I just threw my knee, and instead of dropping it here, I dropped it there. So now I can go 1 and then be at that ideal range for my kick. There are so many small details with each technique. And again, your coach, your trainer, they'll show you what they think is right. And most of the time, I'll probably be fairly happy with that. But occasionally, it's nice to make little tweaks, little corrections, so that your techniques, in particular knees, which we're talking about today, are really on point. And most important to me, you are very safe. So let's call it there. Hopefully today you learned something about how to execute a knee, make it a little bit more dangerous, and stay a little bit more safe. As always, guys, train hard, and I will see you back here soon for another episode.